Good morning, children. Welcome back to English Online class of Sri Gokulam Public School, Guruvayur. How are you all doing, children? I hope you all are doing great. Yes? Hope you all attempted your assessments well. Yes? Okay, children. Let's begin our today's session. So, before the assessment, we started with lesson 12 clauses from our grammar text. So, we know what is a clause and also the two types of clauses, isn't it? So, which are the two types of clauses? They are the main clause and the subordinate clause. Even though we are thorough with this topic, let's refresh what we have studied so far about clauses and its types. Clauses, I told you, it's a group of words which makes sense, which gives us a sort of meaning, even though it is not a complete sentence, children. Clauses are not a complete sentence, but it's just a group of words which make sense, which gives us some meaning. It's only a part of a sentence, not a complete sentence, but a part of a sentence. And how can you identify whether it is a clause? It will have a subject and a verb. So a group of words which does not make sense, I told you it is a phrase, but a group of words which make sense, which gives us some meaning is called a clause. And clause will have a subject and a verb. For example, the assessments are completed successfully. So here which is the subject, children? The assessments. The assessments is the subject in this sentence. So subject is what the sentence talks about. Okay, that is a subject, and it usually comes at the beginning of the sentence. And which is a verb in the sentence? The assessments are completed successfully. Are completed is the verb. Completed is the main verb and are is the helping verb. So both are verbs. Similarly, clause will also have a subject and a verb. Only then we can call it a clause. Otherwise, it's just a group of words which does not make sense, and such group of words are called phrase. Then we studied main clause and the subordinate clause. The types of clauses. They are the main clause and the subordinate clause. Main clause is also called a principal or independent clause. Subordinate clause is also called a dependent clause. So dependent, from the word dependent itself we understood that subordinate clause has to depend on the main clause. Main clause is independent. It can stand alone. But subordinate cannot stand alone. It always needs the support of the main clause. Let's look some examples, children, for better understanding. Example, unless you reach the theatre in time, you won't be allowed to enter. Here check which part of the sentence is complete and which is incomplete, which needs support or which doesn't need support. So here, unless you reach the theatre in time, we understood that particular group of words is not complete. So that is a subordinate clause. It is dependent clause. It needs the support of the main clause. So which will be the main clause? You won't be allowed to enter. That you can consider as a complete sentence, isn't it? You won't be allowed to enter. You got the complete meaning from that part of the sentence. So it is called main clause. Let's look at another example. Manish went to the market after he finished the project. So, Manish went to the market. That we can consider as a complete sentence, isn't it? It gives us a complete meaning. Manish went to the market. But after he finished the project, we understood that particular part of or group of words does not give complete sense. So that is subordinate clause. So children, I hope it's clear, main clause and subordinate clause. So now let's move to another division. Again, this subordinate clause, the dependent clause, it has various types such as noun clause, adjective clause and adverb clause. So let's start with noun clause. Children, you all know what is a noun, isn't it? Noun is a naming word, names of anything in this world. But noun clause is that part of sentence which function as a noun. It doesn't need to be a noun exactly. It functions as a noun. It tells us what someone says, thinks or asks. It usually answers the question what. For example, she said, and if you ask the question what, if you're getting answer for that, then it is a noun clause. She said what? So if you're getting answer for that particular part of your question, then that is called noun clause. She saw what? So if you ask the question what, and if you get the answer for that, then it is a noun clause. The rest of the part of the sentence would be the noun clause. She heard what? So if we ask the question what to she heard, then if you're getting answer, then it is a noun clause. She heard what? What she heard? What she saw? What she said? So if you are getting answer for all these questions, then you are getting the noun clause. Okay. The answer we get would be the noun clause. The entire thing, the rest of the part of the sentence would be the noun clause. Let's see some examples. For example, Kritika asked if anybody had an extra pen. So if we ask the question what Kritika asked, and the answer you get is a noun clause. If anybody had an extra pen, that particular part of the sentence is the noun clause. Let's see next one. Shyamlal did not realize that the directions were wrong. So what didn't the Shyamlal realize? Shyamlal didn't realize that the directions were wrong. That particular part of the sentence is called the noun clause. So when you ask the question what didn't Shyamlal realize? And if you get the answer, that would be the noun clause. And the answer you get is that the directions were wrong. So that is the noun clause. That forms the noun clause. That particular part of the sentence is a noun clause. So children, I hope you understood how to identify noun clause in a sentence. So try to do the textual exercises by yourself. Exercise C and D in page number 113. We'll discuss adverb clause and adjective clause in our coming sessions. So children, it's time to wind up our session. So read the text thoroughly and do the textual exercises. So we'll meet in our next session. That's all for today. Thank you.